But selecting a wife for your son is not an easy task. But as I said, it is sometimes more in the hands of the mother. And the righteous mother-in-law understands what to look for. Okay? What to look for. And she understands Islam. She understands the characteristics of a righteous wife because she herself is a good wife. But if she herself is not a righteous wife and not a good wife for her husband, she might pick the wrong woman for her son. We know in many cultures, what happens is sisters pick up the phone. Hey, Assalamu alaikum, Fatima, how are you? Fatima, my boy is ready for marriage. Do you know any sisters? Right? And then, Aisha says, yes, I have a few friends. I'm like a few phone calls. Let's do this, right? All of a sudden, the whole village or the whole neighborhood, right, is aware that Mustafa wants to get married. So Mustafa is a bachelor. He's a good brother, mashallah, handsome guy. All of a sudden, all the aunties, we call them the aunties get together and now they are all involved, okay? So it's nice, alhamdulillah, that you have a lot of people helping out, but it becomes like a political issue, okay? And yeah, I've experienced that before. Where something like, oh, I think you should marry this one. No, you should marry that one. No, and then there's like jealousy and the aunties have like wars, It's like wars of marriage, of hooking up. And it's like a pastime for them. It's a hobby, Who are they going to hook you up with, right? So the mother, okay, where's the father? Wait a second, let's go back to the father. Where's the father? The father, mostly, he doesn't select, he's not so involved in the selection of the woman for the son. He's more involved in the selection of the husband for the daughter, right? That's when the father wants to like step in and be like, hey man, can you defend my daughter? Hey man, how's your deen? How's this, how that, right? You go pray Fajr, this and that. He starts being a bit more worried because he's taking care of his daughter, right? His instincts just kick in. Of course, he'll be also involved when it comes to the to the daughter-in-law, so picking the right wife for his son. But in general, the woman will have a bit more of an involvement. I'm not saying say, but it's just the way the culture is, isn't it? They love it. They love to matchmake. They love to get in there and do their thing. So, so they call up and, they say, okay, fine, let's match, right? You got 5 matches and, then of course 4 will get upset and then the 1 will be the lucky one, right? So, but what should she be looking for? And I'm talking about women. Women selecting women for men. Can they do that? Yes, in many cultures. Sadly, as I said, in some cultures, they don't even ask the guy. They just say, okay, beta, I have for you, my son, this girl, and you will marry her. And he's just like, okay, mom. He's not saying like, can I talk to her a bit? Like, can I ask a few questions? Can I just like get to know a bit more about her? Okay, mom. It's just, yes, boy. Yes, mom. So, again, then they come to me after and they say, brother, I married this woman. I just accept it for the sake of my family. I hate her now. I just hate her. I can't stand her. She disrespects me, this and that, I don't know what. You're just like, okay, so you didn't do any selection process. You didn't vet her a bit before marrying her? Nope, I just listened to my mama. Well, it's a bit late now. It's a bit tough to deal with it. But let us try, right? So, no. The mother, she knows, okay, what's number 1? Number 1 that you look for is deen. And I just gave a lecture about this. Marry a woman for 4 reasons. So the man should be looking at those 4 reasons. But the mother is also, when she looks at selecting a woman for her son, should be looking at those 4 reasons. Okay? For her beauty, for her lineage, for her wealth, for her deen. Now, she, of course, will try to pick the beauty or the lineage or the money. In many cases, many families will make the connection. She's from a good family. We have to marry her. She's got money. She's going to take us out of our debt. Like a lot of people make those kind of allegiances. But wait a second, is that haram? It's not necessarily haram. But do you see the niyyah, that it's done for that as the main thing? It's wrong. The Prophet ﷺ, he married women based on certain allegiances between the tribes, political reasons sometimes. We know that. One of the reasons that people give for the polygyny of the Prophet ﷺ was that he was very strategic in who he married. So it's not like haram, but you can see if someone says, oh, we're going to marry them because they have money. Doesn't sound good, does it? Right? But deen should be first, okay? Deen is the priority. If other things come with it, she's beautiful, she's got a good lineage, good family, this, that, alhamdulillah, right? That is great. But if not, then it's not a big issue. Most important thing is deen. Problem is that a lot of mothers and men make the mistake of selecting the deen that is superficial. They kind of look at the woman and says, okay, she prays. Good, she should pray. That's a basic. Okay, that's another thing. That's just a basic. She wears hijab. Okay, good, alhamdulillah, basics. What else can you know? You're not going to know so much more. And that is why you should be asking around. How is her personality? Because there's many people who pray, but they are horrible, horrible personality. Horrible. Many people fast and wear hijab and beard and thawb and this and that, but their personalities and their adab is horrible. So I would say, my advice to the mother-in-laws is, okay, hijab, salah, siyam, all that basics should be. Don't even look at her if she don't do those things. Don't expect that your son is gonna fix her. A lot of parents again make that mistake. My son will fix her. He's a good man. And then she breaks him. She breaks the son as well. You don't underestimate the influence that women will have on a man after they get married, after they become intimate. So, deen, hijab, all that basics. Now you need to look at khuluq. Okay, and that's why the Prophet ﷺ said that al-khuluq, the behavior is the heaviest thing on the Day of Judgment in the scale of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You understand? So behavior, ask people, how does she behave? How is she in the house? How is she, with the family on the street, wherever, anyone who's interacted or knows anyone or anything about it. Are you allowed to do that? Yes, you're allowed to dig in a little bit. Because behavior is what's going to dictate. How is she with her mother? How is she with her brothers and sisters? Is she a grumpy one? Is she one that just like that? Or no, right? Because you want to make sure she's going to have good manners, first and foremost, of course, after the deen. But khuluq, manners is part of the deen. So when the Prophet ﷺ said, pick her deen, or pick the one that has taqwa, righteousness, it means also behavior. Why do we superficially just look at the cover, hijab, niqab, and all that, which are very important? Again, people started going crazy when I opened up this issue of like niqab, and I said that some of these the niqabi sisters have horrible characters and disrespect their husbands. Yeah, they wear niqab and they're like, super like, practicing or whatever in terms of the outward appearance, but when it comes to the important things of character, not so good, right? So people got upset. I'm not putting down that. I love niqab. I love, obviously, the hijab is fard. But I'm talking about khuluq, behavior. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. Okay, the behavior. Okay, the Prophet said, I give a house I promise a house in the highest place of Jannah. لِمَنْ حُسِنَ خُلُقُهُ, who perfects his character. So khuluq, behavior is very important. So look at deen, but behavior should be encompassed, right? So she needs to not be deceived just by the appearance. Just, oh, she's so beautiful. Wow, look at her makeup. Oh yeah, my son will love that. My son will appreciate that. No, your son's gonna lose his mind with a woman who is all in makeup, all nicely done, whatever, but inside is not good. Okay, so the mothers have a huge responsibility to pick the right daughter, and of course also the right man for their daughters if they're marrying their daughters off, Okay, not to be deceived by the outward appearances and all that. Deen is the most important, but in the right context, has to be understood correctly as to what is deen, not just he looks, he has a beard, okay, he's a good man. No, not just because he should have a beard. Okay, it's a basic, but you need to dig in deeper, inshallah, to pick the right daughter-in-law or